Nigga wanna see me fall. Stephen Curry, how I ball. Gosha garments and a white 3 on my body. I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in the Benz. Niggas say they.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JR, and I'm back again with another PUBG video. And in this video, I'm just gonna bring you guys my new settings. So a lot of my settings have changed since the last time I made a video, so I just wanted to share, this information with you guys. Also, just understand that there's no such thing as a best sensitivity settings, and just because I'm showing you what I use, it might not work for you. Everybody is different. You just gotta find the middle ground to where you are able to react fast enough, but also you're able to control your gun as well. So I'm gonna show you my settings, and then I do apologize if this video is kind of long. I'm gonna explain every single setting the best that I can. So if you just click on the video just to see my settings, here they are. I recently switched from type A to type B, and the reason I did this I will explain later on the video. I'll leave both of these off. My right stick dead zone and left stick dead zone is on 10. My vibration is always turned off. My forward running sensitivity is at 50. Movement sensitivity is at 70. Vertical sensitivity multiplier is at 75. This has changed as well, and I will explain why I did this later on. This really helps control recoil a little bit better. My general sensitivity is up a little bit higher at 13. My vehicle driver sensitivity is at 10. Let's see, aim acceleration is on, but I have it low at 2. And then I'm running over the shoulder aim sensitivity is up at 14. And then I'm running 8s on my 1 and 2x, and then 6s on everything else. And then of course the 15x is kind of bugged, so I just say that at 20. So now I want to pull up the controller hand cam, and then I'm just going to show you guys why I have my settings the way they are, and then I want to explain each setting the best that I can. So again, I do apologize if this video is a little bit longer. Like I always say, hit that sub button if you enjoy this video, hit that like button as well if you want to stay up to date with anything 2K or PUBG related, and just let me know if you guys plan on using these settings in the comment section, and I'm going to explain every single setting the best that I can. Alright guys, so like I said, I'm going to explain each setting the best that I can. So I used to play on type A, and then recently, whenever the test server came out, I tried type B, and in my opinion, it's so much better, and I'll tell you the difference. So type A, I'll go back to it here. To ADS or aim down the sights, you have to tap in on the right stick, and then to soft aim, you have to hold. Now, this is good because whenever you ADS, you're able to hold your breath by, pushing top left bumper. So you don't really have to do the claw. It does make it a lot easier to hold your breath. The downside of type A for me is I feel like it takes you longer to lock on your target. Now there is no speed difference between ADS between type A versus type B. But whenever you ADS in type A, then you un-ADS and you have to ADS again. For whatever reason, for me, it just feels so slow. Whenever I switched over to type B, in my opinion, I just felt like it's so much easier to lock onto my targets. And I feel like now that type B just feels so much more natural. But the positives to type A is if you ADS down the sights, it's a lot easier to hold your breath by pushing top left bumper. So that is a plus to use in type A. And now, like I said, I use type B. The reason I do this is one, it feels a lot more natural. So if you're used to Call of Duty games, then whenever you aim down the sights, you just hold bottom left trigger, and then if you want to soft aim, you just hold top left bumper. So the plus of this is for me, I just feel like I'm able to aim and log onto my targets a lot faster, and then it just feels more natural. The downside is one thing that I have had trouble adjusting to soft aiming using top left bumper, top left bumper. But I'm starting to get used to it, and sometimes if an enemy catches me off guard, I will go to soft aim, and then I will accidentally lean left because I'm pushing in so hard on the controller. So that is one thing that I've had trouble with, but other than that, type B for me feels so much better. Now another downside is if you use type B, it's really hard to hold your breath unless you're used to playing claw. But I do not play claw, and it also feels awkward if you use your middle finger to aim down the sights and then use your index finger to hold your breath. So that was another reason why I never wanted to switch to type B, but ever since I did it, I like it so much better. So what I did is, you'll see on my controller here, I may buy an Elite controller at some point, but I wanted to try out paddles. So I bought this mod pack, I believe it was 20 bucks, and you're able to just adjust the paddles the way you want. So now, whenever I aim down the sights, I can hold my breath by pushing the paddle on the bottom, and it's super easy. So that's how I adjusted for that. And then the right paddle I just use for B. I don't really use the right paddle as much, but with this mod pack or an Elite controller, I feel like Type B is just so much better in my opinion. So you can make the choice, you know, based on what you feel is best for you. So the right stick dead zone is basically what you can use to control recoil, plus, you know, what you use to, you know, aim. The left stick dead zone isn't as important, but, you know, both of them still kind of apply. So for example, the right stick dead zone just creates an area around the stick that, you know, makes it to where if you push on the stick it doesn't move. So the bigger it is, the bigger the circle gets. So if you do, like, let's say you go to 0 here, so here you can see that like any little movement that I do on my right stick will move my character or my gun. So you can see that here. Now at higher settings, like I'll show you what it looks like at 100 here. Whenever you move up to 100, you know, or 90, I'm sorry. Whenever you move to 90, there's like a big dead zone in your right stick. So now even if I move my stick at all, you can see the dead zone is a lot bigger, so I'm not going to move. So I leave mine at 10. I feel like that's been a really good sweet spot for me. A lot of people prefer 8 as well. So I kind of give you guys an idea on what you want to base this on. So lower dead zones are better for faster movements, but also any movement that you do on the stick can throw you off. So if you have like shaky hands or you feel like your aim might be a little off, then you might want to put this higher. And then of course higher settings on dead zone makes your movement not as fast, but it can also make it more accurate. But for me, I feel like 10 is really good. But I will say, you know, if I'm like in a gunfight and, you know, I'm a little shaky or whatever, then sometimes I can mess up my aim. But other than that, I feel like it's better to have, you know, the right stick dead zone lower than you generally would want to have it higher. So I leave mine on 10, and I feel like that's a good sweet spot as well. And left stick dead zone is basically what you use to move your character. So you can adjust that, you know, based on what feels best for you. Vibration, I always recommend to leave that off because you don't want your controller vibrating and then it throwing your aim off. So I always recommend leave that off, but some people may prefer to leave it on. Forward running sensitivity, I just have this at 50. This basically adjusts the sensitivity of running forward left stick. The higher sensitivity value, the easier it is to run forward. I'll leave this at 50 because I like to be able to run while barely pushing on the left stick. I feel like it just gives me a better like movement. Movement sensitivity, I have at 70. Adjust the sensitivity of the character movement left to right. Higher sensitivity values will cause the character to run rather than walk at lower stick inputs. Kind of the same thing, I just leave mine at 70. I played around with these, but I just usually leave them as it is. And then vertical sensitivity multiplier. This is kind of a big one. This is one that I recently changed. So whenever you do this, it basically slows down your up and down compared to your side to side. Now whenever I've done this, I really can't tell a big difference. And plus in PUBG, you don't generally aim up unless somebody's like on top of a building or something like that. So you can't really tell a difference, but for whatever reason, it just makes controlling recoil so much easier. Like ever since switching, I can just tell like it's a lot easier to control recoil. Like I noticed whenever I had it at 100, I would sometimes overcompensate for my recoil and my gun would go down. I'll try to give you an example. You just saw what it looked like there. So I would definitely recommend trying to put this on 75 and just give it a try. Like I saw a lot of other players do this, like Zastro, then I believe Cliffy, Brent, all the players that I play with, they also do this, and it just really helps control your recoil. I just want to show you guys what it looks like when you put it back up to 100. Whenever I put it back up to 100, you can see like it's just so much more sensitive your right stick is. So even whenever I like barely push down, you can see like it's just a lot harder to control the recoil, and I can actually tell. And it's just so much easier if you put that down to 75 though. So just give that a try and just let me know what you guys think. But I definitely do recommend that you guys put that down to 75 because it will definitely help. Let me change that back here. I want to put this back down to 75. My general sensitivity, I up this from 10 to 13. I believe between 8 and 13 is really good. It did take me a while to get used to 13, but now with it being on 13, I just feel like I'm able to look around so much faster, and then if I need to turn around and snap on a target, then I can just do so easier. So I feel like 13 is a lot better. You guys can, you know, adjust that based on what feels best for you. Vehicle driver sensitivity, I just leave that at 10, not really a big deal. aim acceleration is on, and then I've moved it down to 2. I used to play with aim acceleration all the way up between 6 and 10, but what I found now is I don't feel like aim acceleration is good for consistent aiming. So the only reason I have it on is just so if I need to shoot at a moving car, it makes it a little bit easier. Aim acceleration, whenever you have it on, it basically, like, if you have your right stick pushing 50% or above, it basically makes your gun move faster. So the longer that you hold in on the right stick, the faster you'll move. So that's why it's good for shooting at cars, but it's bad for just general movement and like just for aiming. So I recommend leaving that down. Like, you'll see what I mean whenever I move it up to 10. I can't believe I used to play it on, like, on 10, because that's just crazy. Like, you'll see here, the longer I aim down the sights and move my stick, the faster that I become. So it can really throw your aim off, especially if you're like trying to hit a small target like this guy right here. Like, one of the reasons why I started adjusting my settings in the first place is I noticed that whenever I'd be shooting, I would like move left or right really, like I would just potato really bad, and then I'd be trying to hit my target and I'd be moving left or right, not hitting them at all. And I believe that was because I had the aim acceleration up too high. If you're having that trouble and your aim acceleration is up, I would definitely recommend turn it off or just put it down lower between 2 and 3, and just let me know what you guys think about that. And then my over the shoulder, I put this up at 14. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I tried this at 17 for a few days, and it was honestly just way too fast. The only reason why I upped it for my last video is because I got so annoyed. Like, let's say I walk in a door here, and me and like an enemy walk by each other. I feel like having it on 10, I would move so slow, like if I had to turn and snap on them, and sometimes it would get me killed. So then I moved it up to 17, but 17 was like way too fast, and I couldn't really hit my target consistently. But now I feel like 14 is kind of like the middle ground between being able to turn around and snap on my target, plus being able to actually hit the target. So I feel like 14 is a good, middle ground for that. But you can adjust it based on what feels best for you. And then these two settings right here, I originally was playing on 6s for the longest time. Everything was on 6, even my 1x and 2x. I was playing on 6s. That was one of the main reasons why I upped my general sensitivity up to 13, because I wanted to be able to like turn and lock onto my target, and then having slower ADS speed for your 1x and 2x, I would be able to just sort of compensate in case I overcorrect or needed to, make a slight change. But playing on 6s was just way too slow. Now, I will say I did get a 14 kill solo win playing on 6s, and it did feel smooth, but after, the past few days, I felt like just 6s just was way too slow, especially if I ever played in first person, like just moving around, it was just, for me, it was just too slow. So I moved it back to 8s. I feel like, playing on 8 for my 1x's, 2x is extremely comfortable. So I feel like the past few days since I changed from 6 to 8, I have felt like my shot has been a lot better. So you guys can give that a try and let me know what you guys think. I would recommend between 6 and 9 for that, and just adjust it based on what feels best for you. Now everything else, my 3, 4, 6, 8, they're all on 6s right now. At some point I may change these to 8s as well, but whenever you're aiming down like a 4x or a 6 or so, I feel like you want to have less sensitivity, because generally you're aiming for the head, especially with a car, and if you play at higher input levels, then it may be a little bit more difficult to lock onto your target. The downside of playing on 6s is sometimes it's just a little bit slow whenever I'm trying to like scan an area for enemy. So that's why I may try 7 or 8 to see how it feels. But right now, I feel like I've been hitting my car shots pretty decently with everything being at 6. So that's why I have it the way that is. And then of course my 15x is kind of bugged. I have that on 20, and you hardly ever see a 15x anyway. So that's the way that is. But guys, always just remember that you want to keep your settings at one way for a long period of time. Like, you just don't want to change your settings after every bad game. Even if you decide to use the settings the way that I have them, give it a try for like at least a week. And then after a week, if you notice that your shots are off, then compensate and lower it if your shots are, if you're potatoing and missing your shots by overcorrecting, or higher it if you feel like your sensitivity is so slow. And then eventually you'll find the best middle ground to where you hit your shots, but you're also able to move around fast as well. And that's, where you want to be at. So don't copy my settings, or you can definitely copy them, but you know, try them for a while. If you feel like your shot is good and your settings are good, then don't change them. Like, leave them the way it is. You just want to stay consistent because you want your muscle memory to, you know, memorize how the settings and sensitivity feel. So that's my best advice, but that's my current settings. Hopefully I explained everything, you know, well for you guys. If you have any questions, always leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for all the support. That's all I have on today. I'm out. Peace.